I woke up to the sound of someone crying. But it wasn't for me. My chest felt heavy like I'd been buried under something I couldn't see. My eyes struggled to open. The light above me too sharp, too unfamiliar. For a moment I didn't know where I was, or how long I'd been gone. Then I heard her voice. "Dad, can you hear me?" 3 weeks. That's what they told me later. 3 weeks in a coma. 3 weeks where my life had continued without me, quietly, steadily, and, as I would soon learn, irreversibly. But in that moment, all I saw was my daughter Aisha, sitting beside my hospital bed, her face pale, her eyes swollen from crying. She held my hand like she used to when she was little, her fingers trembling slightly, as if she was afraid I might disappear again. And for a while, I believed everything was still okay. Before the accident, my life had been simple. I wasn't rich. I wasn't powerful. But I had built something with my own hands, a modest house on the edge of the city. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. Every crack in the wall, every tile in the kitchen, every corner held a memory. That house wasn't just a place to live. It was where I raised Aisha after her mother passed away. She was only 8 at the time. I still remember how she used to sleep in my room for months, afraid of the silence. I'd leave the hallway light on every night just so she wouldn't feel alone. We grew up together after that. I learned how to braid her hair. Badly at first. I learned how to cook meals that didn't taste like burnt regret. I learned how to be both father and mother, even when I had no idea what I was doing. And she became my reason to keep going. So when she got married 2 years ago, it felt like I was giving away a piece of my heart. Her husband, Cameron, seemed like a decent man. Quiet, respectful, always polite in front of me. His parents were a bit more distant. They smiled, but it never quite reached their eyes. Still, Aisha was happy. And that was enough for me, or at least I told myself it was. There were small things, though. Tiny moments I brushed aside because I didn't want to seem paranoid, like the way Cameron would casually ask about the house. "How big is the property, Uncle? Did you ever think of renovating the upstairs? Is it fully in your name?" At first, I thought it was harmless curiosity. Maybe he was just trying to make conversation. Maybe he was planning for the future. But sometimes, the questions felt too specific, too calculated. Aisha would always laugh it off. "He's just interested, Dad. You know how he is." And I'd nod, even though something inside me felt unsettled. The accident happened on an ordinary evening. I was driving back home after visiting an old friend. The roads were quiet, the sky already fading into darkness. I remember feeling tired. Not physically, but emotionally. There's a kind of loneliness that creeps in when you're home, no longer echoes with the same laughter. I was thinking about Aisha, about how the house felt emptier since she left, about whether I had done enough. Been enough. And then, headlights. Too bright, too fast. A sudden screech. And then, nothing. When I woke up in the hospital, everything felt distant, like I was watching my own life through a fogged window. Aisha barely left my side. She fed me, talked to me, reassured me in a soft voice that everything was under control. "You just need to rest, Dad," she'd say. "Don't worry about anything else." And I believed her, because she was my daughter, because I trusted her more than anyone in this world. It wasn't until the 3rd day after I woke up that I started noticing the cracks. A nurse came in to check my vitals. She was new. I hadn't seen her before. She smiled politely, flipping through my chart. "You're lucky," she said casually. "Your family handled everything very quickly." I frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" She looked up, a bit confused. "The paperwork. Discharge planning, property documentation, all that." My chest tightened. "Property documentation?" She hesitated, clearly realizing she might have said something she shouldn't. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "I assumed you knew." "Knew what?" But she just gave an awkward smile and excused herself, leaving me alone with a question that refused to settle. That evening, I asked Aisha. She froze. Just for a second. But I saw it. A flicker of something. Fear? Guilt? Then she forced a smile. "It's nothing, Dad, just hospital formalities. You know how complicated these things can be." Her voice was steady. Too steady. That night I couldn't sleep. My mind kept replaying the nurse's words. Property documentation. Handled everything very quickly. A strange unease settled in my chest, heavier than any pain from the accident. The next morning, I asked for my phone. Aisha hesitated again. Dad, you should rest. I just want my phone, I said gently but firmly. After a moment, she handed it to me. The battery was low, dozens of missed calls, messages I hadn't seen. And then one notification caught my eye, a message from my neighbor. I'm so sorry to hear about your condition. I didn't know they would move in so quickly. My fingers went cold. Move in? I opened the message. Your daughter's in-laws brought their things yesterday. I thought you had given them permission. The room felt like it was spinning. I looked up at Aisha, who was standing near the window now, her back turned to me. Aisha. My voice was barely above a whisper. Who moved into my house? She didn't answer. Aisha. Slowly, she turned around. Her eyes were filled with tears now. And something else. Something I had never seen in her before. I was going to tell you, she said softly. My heart began to pound. Tell me what? She took a step closer, her hands trembling. Dad, while you were in the coma. She paused. And in that pause, something inside me broke, quietly, deeply, like a crack forming in glass that had once been unbreakable. Kamran's parents needed a place, she continued. It was temporary. I thought, you thought what? I interrupted, my voice shaking. That it would be okay? I asked. She couldn't meet my eyes, and that's when I understood. Not everything. Not yet, but enough. Did you give them the keys? I asked slowly. Silence. Aisha, did you give them my house? Her lips parted, but no words came out. And in that moment, right before she answered, I realized that whatever she was about to say was going to change everything. The silence between us felt heavier than anything I had endured in those 3 weeks of darkness. Aisha's lips trembled. Her eyes searched mine, as if she was still hoping to find the same unquestioning trust that had always been there. But something had shifted. Something fragile had cracked. Yes, she whispered. Just one word, soft, barely audible. But it echoed through me like a door slamming shut. I didn't react immediately. I couldn't. My mind refused to accept it. Not because I didn't understand the words, but because I didn't understand how we had gotten here. My house? I asked again, slower this time. You gave them my house? It's not like that, she said quickly, stepping closer. Dad, please let me explain. Explain what? My voice didn't rise, but it hardened in a way that even surprised me. Explain how the one thing I built for us, the one place that holds your mother's memory, is no longer mine. Tears rolled down her cheeks now, but I couldn't focus on them, because for the first time in her life, I didn't recognize my daughter. Oh. She pulled a chair closer to my bed and sat down, her hands clasped tightly together. They didn't have anywhere to go, she began. Kamran's father lost his job. They were struggling and they asked for help. And you decided to give them my house? I said. I didn't give it, she said quickly. I just allowed them to stay temporarily. My chest tightened. With whose permission? She looked down. That was answer enough. Oh. Over the next few minutes, the truth came out in fragments. While I was unconscious, decisions had been made, quietly, quickly, without me. Kamran had taken charge of handling things. Hospital bills, documents, logistics. He presented himself as responsible, dependable. The kind of man I had once believed he was. They said it would be easier if everything was managed under one plan, Aisha said, her voice shaking. They told me you would want us to help each other. That family should support family. And you believed them? I said. I believed my husband, she replied, almost defensively. I believed that I was doing the right thing. And did you ever think, I asked slowly, to wait until I woke up? Her silence returned, but this time it felt different, heavier. They brought their things, she continued quietly. At first it was just a few bags, then furniture, then everything. Each word felt like a weight pressing down on my chest. They said it would only be until they got back on their feet, she added quickly. I thought you wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind? I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was the only thing I could do to stop myself from breaking. Oh, you remember the blue wall in the living room? I asked suddenly. She looked confused. What? The one you insisted on painting yourself when you were 16, I said. You said it made the house feel alive. Her face softened slightly, caught off guard by the memory. Yes, I remember. I kept it exactly the same, I said. Even when people told me it looked outdated. Even when I had the chance to repaint everything. I swallowed hard. Do you know why? She shook her head slowly. Because it reminded me of you, I said. Of the life we built together in that house. Her tears fell faster now. Dad, please. But I guess, I continued quietly, it doesn't belong to those memories anymore. Oh. The room fell silent again. But this time it wasn't just silence. It was distance. A gap that hadn't existed before. Oh. I can fix this, she said suddenly, almost desperately. I'll talk to them. I'll ask them to leave. It's not too late. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And for a moment, I saw the little girl she used to be, the one who would hold my hand tightly when she was scared, the one who trusted me to protect her from everything. But life doesn't move backward, and neither do choices. Are they still there? I asked. She hesitated. Yes. I nodded slowly. Then don't ask them to leave. Her eyes widened. What? Don't ask them to leave, I repeated calmly. Dad, what are you saying? Her voice trembled. That's your house. Yes, I said, it is. The words hung in the air. Simple. Clear. Unshaken. Oh. I'm going home, I said. Her breath caught. You're not ready. The doctor said you need at least a few more days. I've already been gone for 3 weeks, I replied. I think that's enough. The discharge process felt strangely quick, almost as if the world was eager to push me forward, toward whatever waited on the other side. Aisha stayed quiet the entire time. She tried to help, offering support, adjusting my things, but there was a hesitation in her every movement now. Like she didn't know where she stood anymore. And maybe she didn't. Because I wasn't sure either. The drive home was different. Familiar roads, familiar turns, but nothing felt the same. I stared out the window watching the city pass by, trying to prepare myself for what I might find. But there are some things you can't prepare for. When we finally reached the house, my heart stopped for a second. It was still there. Same structure, same walls, but it didn't feel like mine anymore. There were shoes outside the door that didn't belong to me, curtains I had never seen before. Voices, unfamiliar voices, drifting from inside. Aisha gripped her hands tightly. Dad, please don't be upset, she whispered. I didn't answer. I just opened the door. Oh. The moment I stepped inside, everything changed. The furniture had been rearranged. My photographs gone from the walls. The blue wall painted over. I stood there, unable to move, as strangers turned to look at me. Cameron's parents, sitting in my living room. Living in my life. Oh. Oh, his mother said, standing up quickly. You're back. Back. As if I had just returned from a short trip. As if nothing had changed. Oh. I felt something rise inside me then. Not anger. Not yet. Something deeper. Something quieter. Oh. Behind me, Aisha's voice broke. I'm sorry, Dad. I closed my eyes for a brief moment. And when I opened them again, I understood something with absolute clarity. This wasn't just about a house. This was about trust, about boundaries, about the quiet ways people convince themselves they're doing the right thing, while taking something that was never theirs to give. Oh. I stepped further inside, slowly, calmly, and every pair of eyes followed me, waiting, watching. Oh. Sit down, Cameron's father said, gesturing casually. You must still be weak. I looked at him, then at the space where my memories used to hang, then back at him. And for the first time since I woke up, I spoke without hesitation. No, I said quietly. I'm not weak anymore. Oh. And in that moment, something shifted. Not just in the room, but inside me, because whatever happened next would not be decided for me.